Yeah. Big JTV, man. And this is the story that keeps on going, man. It's the story that keeps on going, and I'ma still start it how I started before. What the hell? What the helly? what the LeBron James? LeBron James playing tomorrow. Let's go, Laker gang. You know what I mean? Like, comment, subscribe as y'all come in. What the helly is going on with Shannon Sharpe? Oh, Shay Sharpe. We're on probably day 5 or 6 of the scandal. One thing that I will say for sure, though, is that it seems like Shannon Sharpe is not going to get fired from ESPN. Why? Because the avalanche is past. I think the avalanche is past. What could get him fired, though, is if 2 or 3 other accusers come out with evidence. Because what's happening is this trial right now is getting played in front of the court of public opinion. And to not really my surprise, but my semi-surprise, Shannon is not losing a lot of fans, man. You know how that saying, trial happening, things going crazy, Shannon not being lazy, Lakers in 5. That kind of saying is still going viral, even on super serious posts about this situation. So for me, I've been having a lot of male voices in there. Let me have a female voice, right? So shout out to Around the Association. He gave me the idea of this video. This person on your screen you're going to be seeing is Mariah Rose. She's the daughter of Jalen Rose. And here's what she had to say about this situation and athletes in general. Let's go.
Whether or not Shannon Sharpe is found guilty in the court of law, he's a weirdo. Like, this could all be a cash shakedown, whatever. I don't care. That man is in his 50s messing with a 19-year-old. Shannon Sharpe has daughters that are in their 30s. I know everyone wants to be taken out of the group chat when it comes to this conversation, but as somebody who has grown up around professional athletes and sports and has worked in sports for years and loves sports, this brings about a bigger conversation. Oh God, I feel like I'm gonna make some people mad. Athletes need to stop being treated like their performance outweighs their character. I'm quite sick of these stories coming out where it's obvious that athletes have been getting away with treating women like objects to conquer and not people for years and years. And this comes from the fact that we treat athletes like God himself if they can catch a ball or throw a ball or score a touchdown or score a ball in a basket. I'm not saying all athletes, that's a generalization, because you have to actively teach yourself as an athlete to be a good human being, because the way that they are entitled and coddled, they are having their hands held through school, they are having their hands held through relationships, they feel like they can get any woman they want because they have all this money and everybody is chasing after them, and then they get addicted to this life and aren't able to settle down, and then they're 56 years old messing with 19-year-olds. Doing race play and all this weird shit. If you went to a sports school in college, you saw the way the athletes are treated, and you probably know a woman who was assault shakered by an athlete, and that athlete got off scot-free. Don't be so committed to misunderstanding me that you miss the entire point of what I'm saying, okay? Because the majority of these athletes are black men, and I want to see black men do well. So I want to raise my children with better standards than this, okay? I'm noticing a pattern. You've got Anthony Edwards getting a woman pregnant every 3 to 5 business months and then forcibly trying to pay them to have abortions to get rid of his children like they're problems. Deshaun Watson was accused of rape by over 24 massage therapists. He was able to pay away his problems and then became the highest paid quarterback in NFL history. I watched Jackson Hayes drag his girlfriend through their house on Ring camera footage. And that man is playing in playoff games for the Lakers next to LeBron and Luka. And I'm supposed to act like I didn't see that shit? Karl Malone impregnated a 13-year-old girl and is still being not only acknowledged, but celebrated by the NBA. It's unfortunate that a lot of the people on television who cover sports continue to perpetuate this narrative that these athletes are just normal athletes and we should put their game aside and separate that from who they are on the court. And I'm not doing that shit. I don't work for a network. I work for me. So I'm going to say what I want. I am never going to get off these men's neck. I am never not going to feel weird when I see them making millions of dollars to play a fucking sport while their victims are still somewhere out there.
See, now I'm going to take a pause right there, right? And I wanted to disagree with some of her points, but her arguments are very fair. Her arguments are very exact. Now, do we have a situation within sports culture that we idolize and we forgive, and like she said, baby, some of these athletes that we have blinders to when and how they could have been done wrong? Absolutely. Absolutely. That's not a joke. That's a fact, right? And the thing is, it's correlated again to money. It's correlated to money, man. Let me tell you something, man. Last season, right? Josh Giddey at 23 years old, or 22 years old, sorry, was having a sexual relationship with a 16-year-old. Where did that story go? Right? Tyreek Hill done impregnated 10 women in the past 2 years. Where did that story go? You have tons of examples of athletes who've done things that are absolutely abhorrent. But these stories are let go or brushed under the rug, or like the Deshaun Watson case, paid off. It's not right. It's not right. It's wrong. And look, this is mostly a male channel. You know what I mean? This is mostly a sports channel. You know what I mean? But at the same time, we have to understand that, you know what I mean, some of these athletes be messing up severely and they're giving less than a slap on the wrist. How does this relate to Shannon Sharpe? Let's say that these things that the accuser is saying are correct. He has to pay her. He has to pay her. And if they are correct, she should actually go for a criminal case. That's why I think there's two. Again, I'm saying this is nuanced. I think some of the things she's saying are right. I'm talking about the accuser now. And some of the things she's saying are cap and extortion. And I wasn't the first to mention this. Shout out to Mace. But I promise you, there is a man coaching her behind the scenes. And that man could be Tony Busby. But I think most likely that man is her real boyfriend. And if we want to get real gully with it, her pimp. She's getting pimped, or she has a manager, y'all. I'm telling y'all right now, I know girls like this, man. I know whores when I see them, bruh. I know it, bruh. It's like a sixth sense. I don't know what, man, I don't know how God gave me I just be knowing, bruh. I just be knowing. So Jalen Rose's daughter is saying something that is a bigger conversation here about the idolatry that goes towards athletes, and now you extend that to media figures, where their image, their public-facing image, is so adorned and so loved and respected. We almost have a shock when you realize that they are not angels, that they may be devilish in their approach. So she goes on to talk a lot more. Let's hear the last part of her reaction to the Shannon Sharpe incident. Let's go.
And one thing I want to make sure I make clear, okay, is this isn't the only lawsuit of this subject out against Shannon Sharpe, okay? And I didn't know that until this situation, until I looked into it. And number two things can be true at once. They could have been in a consensual, freaked out relationship, and he also could have taken things too far and gotten aggressive with her and done things when she didn't want things to be done. That seemed to be the nature of their relationship, that he enjoyed this almost violent, brooding, almost King Kong kind of fantasy-esque situation. And he's built this whole weirdly, overly sexual, I'm so masculine representation of himself. I mean, after he got made fun of for getting out of the car like an auntie at Total Wine, and people have been calling him gay for years, he conveniently accidentally goes live on Instagram having intercourse, and then goes to make merch to profit off of that shit, and didn't get fired or slapped on the wrist or punished by ESPN at all whatsoever. I thought it was weird when Shannon Sharpe was talking about stretching out Megan Thee Stallion, who is considerably younger than him. Like, that's normal. And like, she's not a public figure that won't see that shit. He obviously apologized to her for that, to her face, but it seems to be a theme with Shannon Sharpe and the way that he talks about women, the way he interacts with them. That tweet where he told a black woman, oh, don't you have a horse to go steal its hair from? Like, come on. Last thing I'm going to say on the subject is the average person has no idea how much money and time and effort goes into keeping an athlete's image squeaky clean. And so when you do see something like this, definitely bat an eye, because there's probably, I'm not going to assume, but likely, allegedly, a lot more where that came from.
Okay. So, one thing I want to mention, this is very ironic, by the way, coming from Jalen Rose's daughter. Because the same athlete privilege that you're talking about is the same thing that your father probably benefited, not even probably, definitely benefited from, and paid your schooling and also you growing up. So this same privilege you say about athletes you benefited from, whether directly or indirectly. Let's start with that. Number two, the age conversation, I think is almost hypocritical that everybody's talking about the age thing. The only thing about the age thing that's really bad is that you're getting played by a 17-year-old. You should know better than to get played by and extorted by a 19-year-old. Let's start off with that. A 19-year-old and a 50-some-year-old having sex, I'm not that offended by it nor shocked by it, because that's life. It happens, right? My thing is, there's ways to handle it. There's ways to do it. Let me give you an example of a trick, an athlete who's a trick, that does pretty much exact same thing that Shannon does, but at least has a program and pays these women off appropriately. His name is Shaquille O'Neal, Shaq. Same thing that Shannon does. Shaq, I believe, is 51. Let me actually check it right now. Shaq is 53. Pretty much the same age as Unc. Still buys poom poom. Smashes on very young women as well. Younger women. Legal, but younger women. So again, there's a right way to do things and a wrong way to do things. And the issue here, again, is that Shaq does it the wrong way. Sorry, not my mistake. Shannon did it the wrong way. I'm telling you. And I wouldn't be surprised if LeBron does it too. Be smashing on younger women. I would not be surprised. But they make them sign NDAs. They pay them on time. Because they understand that when you're so rich and you're at that level, you're not being liked for you. You're being liked for what you can provide. These women don't give a F about these athletes. And in a certain level, I feel bad for them, because if you were broke, you know you're there because you are actually giving the woman the D, or at least you make her laugh, or at least you have some charm in you, right? When you're an athlete and you're rich and you're famous and all these things, you will rarely, if ever, have a genuine connection with a woman, because that woman, again, you don't know if she's there for your bag. You don't know if she's there for your clout. You don't know if she's there for the fame. You do not know nothing. And that is the tragedy of the gifted or the full. That's why Biggie Smalls said more money, more problems, man. But I could keep on going. Big JTV, I appreciate y'all for being here, man. Get in the comments. Let me know y'all thoughts, man. I really like the commentary by Mariah Rose. Shout out to Jalen Rose, great broadcaster. You know what I mean? Mid to okay basketball player. Let me know in the comments, man. Y'all agree with her? Y'all agree with me? Or y'all think she talking that BS? Get in the comments. I'm out.